that our everyday staff deserve to be compensated fairly. I just think that our first responders who are putting their lives on the line for us every day, the policemen and the firefighters that are in the MOU, deserve to have the same comparable cities as our regular staff. It's like, you can't say all staff gets to compare to Scottsdale, Tempe, and Chandler, except our firefighters and police. You only get to compare to Marana, Superstition Springs, Surprise, I don't know, the ones that are like size.
Are you talking MOUs? Because
Yes.
it was Queen Creek, and Queen Creek is one of the highest paying salaries in terms of public safety in the state. And so you talk about Scottsdale, Tempe, I mean, we can go on and on and on about this, but I'm just saying that I feel as though the compensation studies in both pools were very rewarding and very fair to ensure that we have premier employees in both cases. And by the way, I do understand they risk their lives, but we have other jobs that risk their lives as well. I mean, we don't have lumberjacks, but lumberjacks are one of the most dangerous jobs in the nation, in the world. And so I want to be careful that we're not always assuming that the public safety is the most dangerous when there are other I mean, it's hard to be
Is there another job in the city more dangerous than the policeman?
Have you been out on our roads when people are driving crazy and they're out there trying to improve our roads? Yeah. I mean, well, you can make a face, but
I think the discussion is not actually needed right now, in that we can have a discussion about MOUs in the future, but I can ask exactly how much of an increase the MOU MOU employees received this year, which is 9? Huh?
Yeah, it depends on fire or police. I think
Right.
9.2 to 9.4.
9.2, 9 point whatever it was. And the staff is going to be getting about a 5% out of this, I think it is.
No, 9 total.
Right, and they have a 4% increase that happened earlier in the year as a raise, and then so it basically evens out where they're all getting about 9% in total.
for year one.
That we clarify that the annual budget discussion on compensation adjustments was intended to include all employee groups, including those with a contract, but not council.
Very good.
And
Do
does
I?
that include the mayor and vice mayor position in council?
Yes.
Yes. Just to clarify, because they are two separate groups.
I'd second the motion.
And we have a motion and a second. Do we have any additional comments, questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh,
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I want to approach this from two different perspectives. The first one is timing. We can spend almost 2 hours in a special meeting talking about a proposed $125 million park. We've spent less than 20 minutes talking about compensation across the board and leaving out 2 major groups. The other thing is, I'd like to see if you guys would be willing to approach this in a term that we're all familiar with, but in a new context. I'm talking about DEI, discussion, evaluation, and input. None of us have been able to have a public records request to see this study, so I don't know where anybody falls. I don't know what kind of numbers we're talking about. I don't know where the starting points was for the 2 groups that are in the MOU. Were they behind the 8 ball to start with? And even if they got a raise, are they still behind the 8 ball in a comparable city? I agree with what Councilmember Norr said, that all the comparable cities should be on an even playing field. Mayor, I agree with you too, that there are a lot of dangerous jobs, but these 2 groups work 24/7, 365. When most of us are running away from this stuff, they're running towards it. I was recently in a position where I was able to talk to a retired firefighter. There are more deaths from suicide in public safety right now than from line of duty deaths. That's a scary thing. And if we're going to ask these people to put themselves in harm's way, and it's not just the officers, it's their families, it's their friends, it's their city, it's their residents. The other thing, and I've heard every one of you mention this in the last couple of years, we don't do evaluations anymore. I would like to see council be true to the comments that you've made from this dais and at least bring back evaluations for your 3 contracted employees. I think it's important. Me as a voter, me as a taxpayer, and me as a former person that sat up there amongst you, I want to know what my staff is doing. I want to know what the results are. I think the other thing, we can't talk about compensation until we also talk about efficiency and that we're delivering the best services we can. I had an experience recently that I participated in the MAG Transit study, and several conversations identified that we're not serving our senior population with transportation needs because we've got one person doing the job of probably 2 or 3. I think you need to build that into the equation. This isn't just about compensation. We have an amazing staff, and you've heard me say this from the dais and from the microphone. We have amazing people here that go above and beyond for our residents. But without some quantifiable data, I don't understand where you're coming from. I want to make sure that everybody is on a playing field. It's wonderful that I can do a public records request tonight for a report that'll be due tomorrow. But this is exactly why you should have work sessions or at least additional presentations at council so your public sees where their tax dollars are going. The other issue is recruitment and retention. And let's talk about succession planning. If you've got somebody that's already behind the 8 ball or not comparable market-wise, how are we ever going to recruit the people to stay here once we get them here and get them trained, keep them here until they're ready to retire? And forget succession planning. Who wants to step up to a job where they have to take a cut in pay compared to somebody of a lesser rank with a lot less responsibilities?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep.